What's the deal with Amazon? Ads, shipping, shows?
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Hey,
Indeed,
yeah.
indeed,
This
indeed.
is our new show where we you get to hear my bad Seinfeld impression, and it's where we talk about stuff that's in our craw that maybe bugging us a little bit,
Yep.
but hopefully we'll give you a little bit of a humorous take, maybe spotlight some things that you might not have thought about, or and also hopefully it'll kind of generate some discussion. Hopefully, in the if it gets you kind of thinking, maybe give us a comment or two down at the bottom and maybe we can get a discussion going on. Hey, I'm Tom, and I'm here with Mike, and we're the first, the last, the Nerdom. We usually talk about everything in the nerdverse, and so what's the deal series? We'll probably kind of focus on that. And but yeah, we just did a uh, show on Deep Red, which is a giallo horror movie. We also talked about The Creator recently, a great sci-fi movie. We talked about Black Christmas. I've discussing the books of The Fallen, a big fantasy epic series. And the one thing that triggers my ADHD is that the first one is right at 298. So if two of you guys hadn't seen it, maybe watch it and bring it to even 300. I would love that. But hey, I'm getting far off the discussion. Hey, Mike, you haven't been talking. What's going on with you?
Not much, not much. Yeah, this is going to get into a little bit of a pet peeve, and have some interesting takes here. I'm going to try to keep the cussing down to a minimum, but if it flies, it flies. We try to keep a somewhat family friendly kind of sort of thing. Although the subject material that we cover really isn't for the
Mm-hmm.
viewing of the family, maybe more mature kiddos,
Yeah,
more age appropriate. There's a better way to
yeah,
put that.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just loading up here the
Oh
deck
yeah,
before
yeah,
we get going.
and you're thinking Amazon? Is that in the nerd verse? Well, yeah, I guess you could say it is. It's the vehicle that delivers us our content. Now all of the brick and mortars are closing down. A lot of them are. And a lot of times, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, Amazon's going to be your source of getting your goodies, your physical goodies. And they also have gotten into with Prime Video, that's going to be the source of some of your movies and whatnot. They're kind of billing themselves the all in one place. So yeah, if you're a nerd, you're going to get some of your content from Amazon. And we've got some issues with Amazon. Amazon back in the day, when I remember when it was purely about books, and it was the bastion of where I could get the little known books that I could get. Um, Now that was at the I used to, before Amazon, I would have all these smaller personally owned kind of mail order things where the guys would have a little small shipping, almost like Amazon, but it was much smaller scale. They would focus in on fantasy, sci-fi, and horror books, and they would get in books from across the pond in England and
Mm.
in various places, and they would put out a monthly or bi-monthly kind of catalog of the things they had in their shop, and you would go through and order, and it would take a month or two to get the stuff in the mail. But yeah, Amazon sort of killed that. They were like they had everything you wanted as far as books, and then they slowly expanded to the point to where they are now. And I always had a good experience with Amazon, but that's kind of soured recently. What's your experience with Amazon?
Yeah. Before we get here, I'm just kind of doing my second the deck. I should have did this before we hit the start button. But yeah, no. Going along with what you're saying, like I have some big problems with, and it all started with a late breaking email, maybe within the last week and a half or so, from Amazon, informing me that, and I kind of didn't pay much attention, but I started and I went back to it and I read it later when I had time, a couple days later, and basically Amazon is saying, "Hey, we love you so much as a valued customer, in our offerings." And just to kind of set
Mhm.
the background a little bit, I have a handful, literally maybe under five, any given time under five, really three probably any one time that I keep the meter on at all times, meaning I never cancel it. I always just let it go. There's always something there for me to go back to and watch. Amazon Prime is one of those, not necessarily because of the content per se, although I have been very happy with the sci-fi and the comic book content. They know how to make good stuff. They also know how to make turds, like any other company. This is not unique to Amazon Prime Video, is what I'm talking about. But I've always kept Amazon Prime around, and as a kicker, as a bonus, you got this Amazon Prime Video, which I have taken to liking, and it's grown over the years. I have a few others. YouTube. YouTube Premium is kind of like set apart from all that because that's 90% of my entertainment. If I'm being honest, a good chunk. At any given time, I can always find something on YouTube tailored to me and my taste, all that good stuff. Anyway, I got an email saying that they were going to start introducing on the 29th of January, I believe is the kicker date, that they would be, in fact, putting ads on all their content. Doesn't matter if you buy a movie, you rent a movie. It's not set aside from like Amazon Prime. I actually called them to get an answer, and they said it's going to be on all of their stuff. And if you don't want to see ads, then you have to kick over another $2.99 a month for the privilege of not seeing ads, where it used to be part of it. And if I'm paying for a service, I pay for the privilege of not seeing ads or whatever. For that is very true for YouTube. However, all these streaming services aren't making money like they should have, like they were during the pandemic when everybody was shut in and didn't have a choice. They're starting to do these kind of plays like this where they do this money grab. And I have a problem with that. And my problem with that is it was a bridge too far for me personally. Not only and the quality issues with Amazon Prime kind of come and go for me personally. Like sometimes my stuff will not get delivered, or get some random thing that has nothing to do, I'd never ordered. But for the most part, they've always been very accommodating and very good customer service for the most part. Sometimes that's wax or wane, where I've had to make an extra phone call where I shouldn't have. But for the most part, I've been happy enough to not be bothered to go and check out and see what I'm spending. Matter of fact, I also had an open subscription to Comixology as well as Kindle Unlimited. I always keep the Audible running. And apparently, I didn't know this, but I had already subsequently subscribed for like a couple extra shows and features, because that's one of the cool parts of Amazon Prime Video. You can, if you want Max or Showtime or these other extra add-ons, it's really easy to just add them onto your subscription. And in any case, this was a bridge too far for me, and unfortunately, I called them. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm done. I don't need this. I don't need this, and it really got me irritated because it's very anti-consumer. You feel like my main thrust is what gets me going, and what the deal is. If they're going to nickel and dime me on this is just a start, and they're not going to stop here. It's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. I think other companies have done this way better. I don't understand why they did this like this, but there is no reason for me to stick around anymore. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I can't actively endorse it per se because of the terms of service on the platform that we are on YouTube here. But it talk like a pirate day, and you can fill in the gaps. But I don't need to stick around with it. I don't like to do that. I really don't. I haven't had to do that for a very long time because of the digital model that we're going into. And this just brings up a bigger point of like, I don't understand why these companies have to be so anti-consumer. Whether it's this stuff or picking fights with fans, which we'll get into in a little bit here down the line. But
my perspective is much like yours, but I look at it. Okay, Amazon was always premium. Amazon Prime, it was always in my mind premium. I'm paying a little bit extra, or I'm paying this premium, and I was in the model of paying it yearly. Okay, I'm paying this, but I know that I'm getting my stuff shipped in 2 days. I know I'm getting my shipping free. With the with the caveat that I'm paying for this Prime, but I'm paying for premium customer service. I'm paying, I feel like I'm important. I'm valued as a customer. And then when they added video, that's cool, just another layer added benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I really am premium. I'm getting all of this extra stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever I called, when I ever had an issue, it felt like they were bending over backwards to help me. And if
I
I
got
missed,
that feeling too.
if I missed something, or if something didn't get delivered got delivered incorrectly, I was like, oh, no problem, no problem. I'll ship you out another one, no problem. Oh, you didn't get the right book? Okay, well, go ahead and keep that one. I'll send out the right one. And there was always that sense of, oh, well, I feel valued. I am valued. And even though yearly, it wasn't yearly, but every other year or however long, Prime would go up, or Amazon Prime would go up. I was like, oh, okay,
Not a big deal.
it's going up, but no big deal. I'll go ahead and pay it. And
It was gradual, within reason.
Mhm.
Yeah, reasonable. It was reasonable.
Yep. And within this past year, things have kind of curdled. The nice big boxes that we had in our background there of the those Amazon boxes, they they came pretty well how they should. Things came in really nice. Now it's those flimsy non-bubble bubble wrap envelopes. I haven't seen a Amazon box in forever. It's always in those little bubble mailers, but the bubbles are so thin. Is the white and blue one that my books come to me dinged up, in bad shape. Know what I'm talking about? The little envelopes that are
yes.
It's supposed to be foam. It's supposed to be, they're
cardboard exterior, like it's got like a foam kind of styrofoam kind of thing in the middle.
They're now the kind of the plastic.
Okay.
But they come. It's so thin protection that they just get banged up. It feels like things are just the quality is kind of lowering on that end. And then there's also the product that's coming to me. I know I spotlighted this on my on the show and also on X or Twitter. But one of my books, the pages came out, misshaped. They got cut incorrectly, so the section of them cut a little bit lower than they should. And then on my most recent purchase, I paid for a mass market paperback, and it came at full price. I went through, found my book. It said I wanted the mass market paperback. I clicked on that and I hit add. Well, it came into me. Look at this. It came with a little sticker from a used bookstore that said $1.50.
Right.
I didn't pay $1.50. I paid $10 and something. It's a used book, and and when I went back and looked at the fine print on the Amazon page, it said shipped from Amazon but sold by a used bookstore. There should have been a big pop-up that came up that said, hey, just so you know, you're buying a used book. But no, Amazon doesn't care. I could probably call them and get a refund on this, but I wanted my book. I wanted, and it shouldn't have cost me $10 for a used book. And that's a little crazy. And so and also with the book with the misaligned pages, normally I would call Amazon. They say, "Oh, I'll send you out a new one." No, if they send me out a new one, I would have to send this one back. The weird thing was they said, "Okay, we could do a refund," which I got, and I didn't have to send this back. I went ahead with that, and I took my money that I got refunded. I walked myself over to Barnes and Nobles and got the book for the same price as Amazon. And Amazon used to give you a big enough discount to where you, especially with Amazon Prime, that you got the books cheaper than the average market. Now they do kind of match prices. Also, I'm a big fan of Blu-rays, 4K. I'm a physical media guy, so Amazon was my go-to place to get my media. And for the most part, I've found that like if you search for a Blu-ray on Amazon, they're pushing their digital stuff. So if you search for the John Wick 4 on 4K, they're going to push their the thing that comes up to the top is the 4K streaming version of John Wick. They're going to try to sell you that because that doesn't cost them that much money, if at all.
Right.
And actually, the thing I've had to do for the last few movies that I've ordered, like Dario Argento's Dark Glasses, I couldn't find the Blu-ray when I searched on Amazon itself. I had to go to Google and search Dark Glasses Blu-ray, found the external link to Amazon to go to find it. And that's nonsense. I don't think that's right. If there's something seriously wrong with their search engine, or they're maliciously trying to sell you the digital versions over the physical because it costs more to send that physical media. Right. That's my opinion of what's going on here. And so I was very dissatisfied with Amazon. So when they put the cherry on top where they said, hey, by the way, you're no longer premium. When you pay for Amazon Prime, we're going to throw in commercials now. You're no longer a premium member. Actually, you're lower than that. You need to add $3 more, and all we're going to do is remove ads. We're not doing anything else. We're just going to remove ads. And so my membership to Prime was coming up. It actually expires on January 25th. And I'm looking at, if I paid another year for it, it's going to be $140 for me. I said, nope. And I canceled. So January 25th, I'm out. I'm not looking back. In fact, I've done some shopping on Walmart.com, and as long as you pay, as long as you group together enough items for $50, they give you free shipping included too. So, and I've been going to the sources. I've been going to Arrow Films for my 4K. Right. And I've, I go to the source, Arrow. I go to Vinegar Syndrome. I go to their site to order my movies there. That they often do like sales. But I'm going to go to those smaller shops. I'm going to go straight to the source now. And in fact, I'm a big toy collector, and I think my video's kind of going crazy.
That's okay. Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, it'll. I think it'll refresh here in a minute.
But yeah, but yeah,
there we go. Much better. Thank you.
Yeah, I go to like one of the toys, the smaller toy companies that like Entertainment Planet and Big Bad Toy Store. They're a great place for your action figures. And I don't mind paying shipping for them because they package it for the collector. They make it nice. You feel like you're a premium member again. You feel like a Prime member ordering from them. In my Arrow Films, they came in a nice box. They came nice and well packaged. So yeah, if you go to those smaller companies that specialize in what you're ordering, you're pretty much maybe you're paying a few dollars more, but you're getting it from the source. You're paying those people what they're to carry on with it. If you're ordering it through Amazon, they're having to give Amazon a discount, and then Amazon's paying you making you pay the same price that you would from those other companies for the same thing, but those companies aren't getting that same amount of money. So if you like the stuff, support it from the source. Don't go to Prime.
Yep.
Don't go to Amazon
I
for it.
I did the same thing you did. I was like, all right, well, I freed up a little bit here and there. So I actually for like last mile things, for more things that are important to me anyway, for like more pedestrian things that will make my life a little bit easier was and plus shipped had a sale. And if you're not familiar with Shipt, they have like a conglomeration of local department stores and grocery stores and pharmacy type, kind of drugstore type things, like where you can just order online and then you don't have to pay shipping fees. And then I've used that to here and there, but it was like half off so basically with Amazon playing and pardon my language, but and a fellow special guest of somebody out there who named Justin, who's been on our show before. We interviewed him. I have a saying that I like that, like Amazon, when they do this thing with this money grab, nickel and dime thing, they're playing fuck games. And when they do that, it just makes you feel like a buffoon. It feels like a big red nose and you feel stupid. Like they're taking advantage of you. And I don't like that feeling. And never mind, I'm not sticking around. Oh, excuse me. First on-air sneeze. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, what I was saying is, I have diversified my bonds, as it were. I've diversified my offerings, and I also grabbed a Sam's Club membership, because actually, I will turn that on every once in a while. But like between that and ordering it on Sam's Club, or the other alternative would be the Walmart Plus thing you're talking about, or even you don't even have to be the membership. You just have to do up to $50. Boom, you ship it, and you're done. Encourages you to kind of be a little bit smarter with your purchasing things and whatnot. But anyway, it was just a bridge too far for me. And going on the back, I think we've whipped Amazon quite a bit. But shame on you, Amazon.
Also the 2-day shipping that went out the window with COVID.
That's true.
Some of the stuff you get will be 2-day shipping. But my
if you're not careful and look, if you're not careful, you'll wait a week or so. If not, you'll actually pay for shipping too.
Yep. On some items, by the next book in the Book of the Fallen series 9, that took over a week to get to me. Well, it was a Prime item, but it was.
Oh wow.
They weren't going to ship it, super fast. It wasn't close. Like if the item is close within your region, it'll get shipped the second day. But that book was in California. They weren't going to ship it super fast to me. So yeah, it's like I'm not do not feel like a premium member anymore. And we got lazy. That's the thing. It's like, everything you can get is with Amazon, so might as well, it's easy. Go ahead and order it through Amazon. Well, no, now it's getting to be an inconvenience. So when it becomes an inconvenience, I'm not going to pay that premium thing. And I guess we're going to get into the shows. The shows, they're not there. There's a couple of series that I watch on Prime Video, but I'll wait until the whole season's out, and I'll pay maybe a month and wait till all of maybe towards the end of the year where they're all out, and you binge it. Because I used to be subscribed to a lot of different streaming services. But I had a kind of a life event where I had to cut some of those out, and I haven't added them back in. The ones I added was Hulu, and they gave me Disney for $2 more. So
easy win.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, well, now that I have some extra cash, and I'm waiting until there's something that really grabs my attention, to say from Netflix or HBO Max to pull me back in, and I haven't been pulled back in yet. I've actually been buying a lot of physical media lately since I had that extra money. Instead of getting a subscription to Netflix, I got got some movies, and I've been enjoying those physical media. And after I watch it, I know I have it. It's on my shelf. I can watch it anytime I like.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that Amazon, for all its offerings, and it's grown quite a bit over time. Like it's way different now than it was 10 years, even 5 years ago. Like where you can get the addition of Kindle Unlimited, of all these extra things. And one thing I will probably never step away from, and the other thing too is there's so many different competing genres and communication, or I mean media things that you can get into. You can turn that money around towards Spotify if you're a music nut. You can do it, and Spotify, by the way, also just as a podcast and music, it is also where you're starting to see audiobooks, and I think that's been there for a while, but they're starting to creep over, and that has appealed to me because at some point when they screw with Audible, which is the one thing I did retain of all Amazon properties. Because I can spend quite a significant amount of time in my audiobooks, and I love them. And I have hundreds of them. I have just about 300 of them. We're not talking something that was done over 2 years. We're talking about something that was going, I was telling you this way back in the day, when Audible was its own company. I started, and I didn't have as much money back when I was younger, so I'd turn on here, turn it off, turn it on. But I always had access to that just with my login, and I love that. And that's going to be a big entertainment center that I'm going to return more to than, say, just flipping on a random Thursday or Tuesday or something and just watching Amazon, just brainlessly watching something that, or maybe checking something out that was recommended. There is no hard-hitting show or movie or anything like this is worth me sticking around for. Now, maybe if this was during like when The Expanse was on, I caught some feelings, I might have done this, approached this a different way, but I don't need it. You're just telling me, you're reminding me that I don't need this thing. And in that vein, before we whip Amazon too much harder, this is the point of this kind of this like, what's the deal is this anti-consumerism, whether it's nickeling and diming people over and over to death, or and just the fact exactly how companies work. And the thing is like, I don't mind paying more money for something if they just would have done like a $3 bump to their service. I wouldn't have cared. I probably would have been like, I don't care, whatever. And I was the idiot because I was paying the most expensive version of Amazon Prime, which is per month, instead of just grabbing a whole year at a time. I never saw it was like $12-14, whatever. I don't care. God knows you can hit that limit too if you're going to Starbucks for like 3 people. That's like, and that's like one day, like one visit. It's like it was worth it for a while, but not anymore. But this anti-consumerism slides on down the line, and this is kind of just like, I think we're hitting this peak here, like where it's not just Amazon. This is just kind of the topic that we chose to intro. But the thing is that like people have choices now. They don't just have to it's either cable or the highway. If you want something, you can literally pick and choose what you want. And this whole, I think corporations are, I do think they're in the pandemic and inflation, which we're still experiencing to a certain degree, is with a money grab from companies just trying to squeeze a little bit more out of the bottom line or whatever it is. And then they come through and they did. I think they went back and they fixed this a little bit, but not to the satisfaction of people. When this came across the world, this broke a lot of trust. Where and this didn't happen too long ago. This is just PlayStation Store purchased movies from libraries after service shut down. This isn't the particular one this is just the one that I grabbed. But the more recent version of this is basically that they turned off the movies and the things and they yanked them. So if you spent hard-earned money on and you bought the full price, you're not actually buying it to own it. You're just buying a extended rental from them.
Yeah, like Paddington there. They're going to rip the raincoat right off of you.
Right. Well, and they can take that anytime if the deal falls through. You've seen it over and over again with the I don't know about you, but I've gone out to eat a couple times with my kiddos, and there was like some kind of a dispute between the cable provider and the network, and they weren't willing to pay the whatever fee, and then they turn it off. They play hardball, and then they play this stupid thing on the thing on that channel that says it's all propaganda for the company. Like, hey, we're just trying to get the best deal for you. Yeah, right. Anyway,
like you're saying, it's like we're not saying Amazon is any better or worse than certain things. It's sort of I used to think of Amazon a little higher than other companies. Hey, it's a little bit more personalized. It came from the ground up. It used to be a small company that specialized in books, and they've kind of kept that mindset as they expanded. And so I wasn't trying to promote Walmart any higher by saying I've switched to them for some things. I'm saying Amazon is no longer that higher thing. It's just another Walmart. It's another Target. It's another thing. It's those corporate companies that are soulless, that they have to be soulless, that you have to go to because that's the only thing you can. But there's still options. You could go. I'm going to be less willing to go to Amazon. I'm going to maybe go more towards Walmart now that I have a bitter taste in my mouth from Amazon. And I'm going to support those smaller companies that do have a heart, that are seeking out those movies and products that cheapgraphics.com is a great place to order graphic novels, and often they're much cheaper than Amazon. I've ordered from, and they're lovingly packaged. So now they do take longer, a lot longer, but that's the joy of that lost joy of
delayed gratification.
Stuff mail order. Yeah, the thing that you ordered a few months ago that you completely forgot about shows up, and it's like another little gift. Like, oh wow, I got this. So yeah, there's that satisfaction of getting something and it being personalized and it being wrapped with care. So that when you open it, it's that much better. It doesn't have those ding quarters that you get from Amazon. It's maybe you got it 2 days in 2 days, but look at the shape it's in, because Amazon doesn't care how it looks going out. The shipping people, it's not packaged correctly, so it's going to get thrown around because the guy driving it out to you doesn't care. But yeah, those smaller companies like Arrow, cheapgraphics.com, Big Bad Toy Store, they want their customers. They need those customers. They're small. They want to keep those customers happy. So yeah, they're going to package those correctly and get them out to you. So yeah, always go to those smaller places if you can. But if you have to go to Amazon or Walmart, you do have a choice, and Amazon no longer stands out as the leading choice anymore for those soulless corporations.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, this is no longer 2012, like where this is the only company on the planet that's doing this unique kind of thing where they drop ship stuff to you, or Netflix, like where I remember back in the day, the physical DVDs were the catch, were the main bread and butter. And then I remember being the first pioneer for being one of the first few things, being excited because I was in tech and I followed that along. I was tickled. Not only could we get our DVDs or 4 of them at a time, whatever the hell it was at the time, but we also had that streaming service that kicked off. It had barely anything, but I have very fond memories of watching Lillehammer with the one dude from The Sopranos. Like, it was dumb. It wasn't a great series, but like I loved it. I enjoyed it. That was kind of the first brush of like, hey, I like this company. This is cool. I like this touch. And Amazon, these corporations can only do this for so long before they lose their touch, and people realize, you know what? It's 2024. I have options out there, and I don't even care. And matter of fact, we've all been immune. I don't know about you, but like if a shipping thing comes up, I don't even think about it anymore. Like if it's like $5, like within reason, like obviously if it's like priority, you're going to pay more if it's a regular company with regular shipping and not Amazon, the juggernaut that they are. By scale, they solve all those problems. But all the same, I don't mind. I'm okay with paying it a little bit more because you know what? I don't care because I don't. It's out. It's whatever. But this whole anti-consumerism thing. And then I wanted to slide over to this real quick. This is just, and we're not necessarily picking on Amazon or using them as a punching bag. I just kind of pulled out these anti-consumer examples, like which like that. And my other point to pivot on this is like, stop picking fights with the fans. And this is I don't understand why this keeps reoccurring over and over and over again. And this is just like the latest. And we'll go ahead and get into it a little bit, but like this is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg that has been in the news lately. It's kind of dying down. It's after the the firestorm that happened, but everybody had a comment on this. It wasn't just right or left or whatever. It was basically, you know, they say these off-putting things, and then they wonder why people react to them a certain kind of way, even though the fact that like you know, and this is kind of goes into my point of like, companies they're not trying to solve a problem or whatever. They're just trying to get more money out of you, or they're trying to tailor it to a sub niche category that doesn't exist. Okay. The real world doesn't operate on blocks of people, in our dichotomies. This is not how entertainment's for everyone. That there's all kinds of things that will shock you about people that show up for different things than the stereotype that might go hand in hand with it. And this is just another avenue of picking a fight with the fans and not making things for general audiences. When you have people like this that say outlandish things like this, Sharmeen Chinoy said about, you know, it's time a woman shaped Star Wars films. Well, that's kind of like, and also people take offense to this, not because of what she says, but like because it's like, well, what about Carrie Fisher? What about George Lucas's ex-wife? What about
Marsha Lucas was in many ways the co-creator of Star Wars. But yeah, no, it's something, you know,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's anti-consumer. It's picking fights with the fans. It is putting a wedge between the company and the consumer. And it's just not good. It's not a good look. Whether it's Amazon doing it with more nickel and dime stuff, considering the fact of what I already spend with them, this causes people to be, hey, you know what? Oh yeah, you know what? This is a reminder. It's kind of like car insurance. Like every couple of years, maybe you get an email, maybe somebody talks about it online or something. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? I should probably shop that around. You know, at least once every 5 years or so, because I'm probably going to find a good deal. That's what happens when they start playing in this. And that's part of the reason why they say streaming services aren't making the money that they need to make. That was the whole crux of the strike not too long ago. And we have a couple more points here to nail home, and then we'll wrap it up here. I just can't. I just can't. And there's definitely loyalty there to be earned. This to me was just kind of a slap in my face for being a loyal customer, never once questioning that charge on my card for the last 50 months, 60 months that I've let it run, or whatever the hell whatever. I even trusted Amazon to the point to like where they are a payment processor too. I bought big things and I like that because it's like one thing. It's not quite as ubiquitous as like a PayPal, but all the same, there's a rapport of trust there. Well, you broke trust. You broke trust because you're treating me like a piggy bag, or excuse me, a piggy bank, and nobody likes to. Nobody likes to feel like that. Nobody does.
And the last time I talked, it used to. I guess it's how they used to train the Amazon people on the phone. They used to be very friendly, very nice. Last couple of times I talked to them, they're okay. They weren't rude to me, but you could tell that they had better things that they could be doing, and talking to me wasn't one of them. And they resolved the issue to the point where I wasn't like extremely upset. But like I said, I went to Barnes and Noble, and Barnes and Noble's a valid option as well. There's a brick and mortar that I can go out to. It's no longer the pandemic. I can walk, drive over there, and they have stuff reasonably priced. I could actually hold it in my hand, decide whether or not I want. And they have a deal with Criterion to ever so often, a few times a year, their Criterion movies go on sale for 50% off, which is a great deal. So yeah, there's definitely options. I've always seen these companies as corporate, as evil, Amazon maybe less so, but now it's just kind of become one of those overlords as well. And with Disney, with with all of their nonsense, it's like when Marvel, everybody was charmed by them because of Marvel.
Right.
When they were buying up 20th Century Fox or Fox, they were like, "Oh wow, now that we could have Marvel movies with the X-Men. This is
Right.
great." I was thinking at the time, no, this is a bad idea.
Right.
And it turned out to be a bad idea. They haven't done anything with the X-Men. And they've that Disney isn't really big into physical media, so that 4K that was going to come out from Fox of say Fight Club, we're still waiting on that. I don't know
Right.
if we'll ever get that. They're starting to dip back into Blu-ray and 4K since streaming isn't the gold mine that they think it is or
Right.
thought it would be. So they're dipping back into physical media, but you can't rely on them to be that.
No.
So yeah, I've always had a mistrust for the big companies. Always look towards those smaller companies because they need you. Those big companies do not need you, and I don't really get into much with the nonsense of what people are saying as far as wanting to be there for women or making the movie for women. Look for the things that you like.
Right.
And like what me and Mike have been doing, we've been dipping back into movies from the 70s, the 80s. If something doesn't appeal to you now, maybe it really isn't for you anymore. My dad was really big into westerns, and he sort of stayed with it. He till his dying day, he was dipping back into those old western novels, and he knew what he liked. So yeah, and at this point, you know what you like, and I don't have the energy to to fight and argue, and in fact, there's no moral ground that I want to stand with books or movies or
Right.
whatnot. I like what I like, and screw you if you think I'm whatever is that you think I might be
Right.
because I like what I like. I'm going to enjoy what I enjoy.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like when it's fans picking fights or whatever, but like it's a whole other, and it's not just Disney. Like all the big studios have done this as one time or another. Like, and it's just like it just boggles the imagination of like where where the hell do you get that? Like, what world is that in? It just isn't. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
compute. It doesn't make sense. It
Mm-hmm.
always distracts from the main point. And this is kind of the point that and I'll wrap this up here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it used to be on the red carpet, there was like a big show, song and dance. You had the actors on the red carpet. They were doing promos, whatever. The last time I saw that was with Black Adam with a Rock. Like he really put his heart. He really put it out there to like kind of do the old school thing, and it worked kind of, but didn't quite tip the needle over where it needed to be. But all these, like most of these places they stopped doing that for whatever reason. Just
Yep.
the marketing, like the synergy and all that, which and it's a little bit of nostalgia here and there too. But like
Mm-hmm.
anyway, all this to say,
Yeah.
like we just wish, like I can deal with like an increase. That's okay. Like if you want to do something, they should have done something like what everybody else did, which was like make a cheap tier, make a cheap seats. Like the standing room only kind of used to be able to go to a baseball game or something like
Mm-hmm.
that for like a little bit show my age here, but like this is when I was little, but you could get in for like $10, if not a little
Mm-hmm.
cheaper. You weren't gonna be all that comfortable, you weren't gonna be
Right.
getting a
Yeah.
bunch of peanuts and Cracker Jacks and beer, or in my case,
Yeah.
a hot dog, maybe a hot dog every other time, and maybe a soda, because I was a kid, obviously I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't old enough to drink, but like when you get
Right.
older, it's just kind of like
Yeah.
there's no just okay, all
Yeah.
right, well if it's gonna be, this is a commodity for me and I can turn it on or turn it off, and
Right. Yeah. And like you said, Netflix kind of did it right in that the when they added commercials, they added a cheaper version of it, so
that's fine. That's
you knew
fine.
where you were going. It's that one wasn't going to be HD; it was just going to be
Right.
regular SD.
Right.
So you always felt premium with them. But now they did go ahead and raise those prices for that premium. But yeah, But with Amazon, they kind of did it in the reverse. They said, "Oh, you know what? You thought you were premium, but you were actually substandard, and we're gonna to actually be premium. You're gonna have to pay $3 more." So yeah, there's that sense. And then also one last thing about fans and feeling appreciated. That I think what Mike was saying about those directors and different personalities that are saying those things. They don't really appreciate the fans anymore. They're more interested in how they're perceived, and they
Right.
want you to know how they feel. Whereas it should be, there used to be that sense of an appreciation for the fans, and the fans showed their appreciation by reveling in the product and endorsing the product and having fun with the product. There was our friend of the show, Justin. He was talking with us about Jim Zub, and he's the writer of the new Conan comic book out by Titan, who
Mm-hmm.
took it over from Marvel. And Titan's been doing it correctly. They gave it to Jim Zub. Actually wrote it
Very
on Marvel,
talented.
but he kind of
They gave it to
yeah he
great talent, and they let him go.
mhm.
They
Yeah,
let him
and
go.
Jim Zub actually wrote on Marvel, and but it felt like he was maybe a little restricted, had some limitations. But with Titan, yeah, they said do your thing, and they brought an artist. John Buscema is no longer alive, but they got an artist that drew very reminiscent of the first, I think, 5 issues, very reminiscent of John Buscema, and it gave you that old savage sort of Conan look, that old Conan the Barbarian look. And Jim Zub has always been very ingratiated by the fans. He loves the fans, and he expresses that in any interview that he gives. And the fact that it's sort of his stuff is a love letter to the audience.
Right.
They've embraced it. They've really endorsed and brought up the sales of Conan, and they're expanding it instead of the way Marvel handled Conan and flooded the market with various Conan titles.
Right.
They built up the Conan the Barbarian title, and this year they're going to expand it. Now that the Conan the Barbarian's built up, they're expanding it to Savage Sword of Conan, and it's probably going to expand it out. Where they're going to expand it out to meet the
Demand. Right.
meet the demands of the fans, as opposed to flooding the market and hoping
Right.
the demand is there. And
Right.
also, I did one last thing I'll say is I was talking to the guy Jesse at my local comic book shop, and talking about reminiscing about how fun it used to be to mix it up with other fans and have discussions, especially online, about various things. Who would win in a fight, Hulk or Superman?
Right.
Just those fun topics, and everything's kind of gotten real negative and really name calling, and we need to get back away from that. Get back to a funner time.
Well,
I think.
these things originally used to bring people together, not push them apart for whatever
Mhm.
reason on the thing, and just kind of like like what about Patty Jenkins? It's ironic because in this particular vein for Star Wars, because they've announced a million friggin' things and they never follow through on them, or they cancel them or whatever. And some of those things where people were really looking forward to, nobody said one word about Patty Jenkins doing Rogue One. Matter of fact, that probably would have been a better bet than whatever the hell their plan is now. But that's a different conversation. But the point being, stop. Why do you got to drive a wedge? And the other thing too is, if you are a director or you are whatever, you better be super friggin' talented in one shape or another. Because if you can't carry it off without, yes, it is possible to look at original material and ignore it. But ignore it, but then do your own vision. Do you know how incredibly rare that talent is in general? We're just talking, we're not even talking about books. We're not even talking about the small screen. We're talking about the big screen. There's only a few people in the world who can pull that off with that kind of clout. And everybody that they've introduced to this has been a first time at bat. And what has happened? It's not a surprise when it's a swing and a miss. not because of this side says one thing or that side says another, or this group is right or that group is wrong. It's because the economics of the thing, the vast majority of everything made in any given year is going to be okay at best. The vast majority of it is going to be drac. It's going to be subpar. It's going to be okay at best. And that's not saying much. And there's tons of content that gets created year over year, whether it's a big studio or a smaller one, like only the cream does rise to the top. And of course, the normies always get to decide what that is. And nobody can tell that unless you are dialed in to know the fandom or to understand maybe the spirit of it if you disregard something. But few and far between. You can't do that.
Well,
that's not how it works at all. Like you don't have to. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that you have to like follow every panel or every line, every chapter, every verse. Obviously, there's going to be some shift when you shift genres, but at the same time, stop disregarding. Just stop picking fights with just stop. Don't do that. That's not good for anybody involved at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, and recently, shout out to Glenn O'Leary of he has the YouTube channel Comic Book Palace. But yeah, he came under fire on Twitter X.
Cancel pigs.
A few weeks ago.
Is the internet like to call them?
Yeah, because he dared to say that he wanted his characters to be like themselves and not have the writers self-insert themselves into the characters. He wants Peter Parker to be Peter Parker. He wants Miles Morales to be Miles Morales. Captain America to be Captain America. Used to be back in the day, the people that wrote comic books were fans of the characters and knew they were decades long history of these characters that you knew who these characters were, and you didn't go to Captain America to talk about your personal problems as Captain America. You wrote Captain America to be Captain America, and that's what Glenn wanted to get back to, and he got roasted on Twitter by fans and some creators, and Mark Millar kind of stuck up for him and got attacked as well. And all they were saying was, hey, let's write some good stories with the characters as they are. And evidently in 2023, that was a controversial thing to say. And hopefully 2024, like I was talking to Mike beforehand, I think 2024, I've got bright eyes on. I hope that the year is great. And I think there's a thing to be said for positive energy. I know we've kind of ragged and kind of tore apart certain things, but it's with love. We want things because we had love for Amazon. We had they had us, but they've lost us. So bring us back. We've canceled, but hey,
that's true.
You can always turn things around. You can turn things around. This is a love letter. It's not a hate letter to Amazon saying, hey, you've jilted us. We feel like jilted lovers.
Maybe rethink this one. Or do it. Do it in a different way doesn't feel so off-putting, especially with the amount of money that I give you. Like I'm just not going to. And that's and I am an advocate for if a service is good enough, if I pay for it, not that I want to do this or that this is a pastime of mine, but if you pay for something, usually there's recourse there between you and them for them to get it right or fix it. Obviously within reasonableness. Nobody's trying to scam anybody out of here, but like there's a reasonableness about these things. But if something is free and they get rid of it or they change it, you have no right to complain, really. Not really. And that's what a model is that we're so used to with the free things, but you are the product, as it were. But I don't want to get too long-winded here, but this is a love letter. Like this is like, hey guys, like, no, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to stop here. And we're not going to have to go. I'm not going to go forward with paying your company anymore until I see a substantial improvement in quality. I don't care. If it's a if it's a three-legged dog the bats for the same team, so to speak. I'm just making fun of everything, but like you can do that, and you can do it in such a wonderful way, like just like we were saying, like high praise for Dario Argento. There are things that were made in the 70s that are commonplace now that people don't even bat an eye to. That was probably eye raising when it was here in North America. It's a different contrast in culture and things and time, but like that they perfectly executed on that, and it was all part of it. You just accept it, you move on. That's why a film from the 70s can feel more modern and put together and wonderful than something in the last 10 years that was like anything outside of art house, like mass media, mass consumer product. It just like, it's not too late, but until then you won't get my money. And it's not just us. It's not just us. This is like something that it causes people to be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need these 10 different streaming services or whatever.
Right.
Maybe I can spend my money on a book club where you get a book from whatever every so often, and then you're part of that. That would be more edifying to it. Like all these things are competing. And I will say this, the writing is on the wall. YouTube, I know they're creeping closer, but if they try to do something like this, I would be really sad, but I would put it aside and move on. I don't want that to happen because, like I said, YouTube is really cool. But if they try to do a money grab, like without some kind of like trade-off, then we got a problem. Because I'm not paying you to see ads. That's not what I'm doing. Yep. I won't ever do that, period. That's kind of the point. And I'm not going to kick over another few shekels just for the favor of not seeing a stupid ad. And at first I was like, Thomas and I are in technology. And at first I was trying to oh, no big deal. I can just do like a Pi-hole DNS service type thing. On my network. I don't want to do that. I realized like I could counter that. I could do that. I'm like, you know what? Or I could not do that. And if I don't pay you, then I don't see any ads. That's a choice too. But anyway, kind of pulling this back. I just want to say, I'm going to refresh the screen here, but shout out to our main channel here on YouTube. And Thomas's is on Twitter. Yep, there it is. There's our latest and greatest, which is Deep Red. Go check that out from this week. We'll be releasing this on Wednesday. Also, go back and check our Book of the Fallen, Thomas's series that he's covering solo. At some point, we might bring that in-house for both of us. And then stay tuned for this coming next week. We have a very special guest. I can't wait to get into this because it kind of goes back to our roots a little bit, but in a new way that's unique to us. But in any case, I think that's all I got to say. You have anything else to add?
Yep, I got a final comment. Much like our channel, we do have a handful of fans, which we appreciate. We love. Don't think you're think we don't appreciate you,
right?
And that's the core of what we're talking about. It's customers and fans are the core of it all. And if you don't feel appreciated, find where you are. Whether that's and then you may have to do a little digging. You may have to do a little bit of legwork. You may have to find that small company that sells those 4K Blu-rays that you love. You have to kind of track down those that comic book seller that sells those cool graphic novels you like. You have to find that toy company online or local. Even better, a brick and mortar. I don't have a nearby brick and mortar store that focuses on various things. Although my comic book shop does focus on comic books and toys. So if I want to get a certain toy, I'll go to there as well. But yeah, go look out. If you do have your local comic book shop, go to see them and see what they offer, see what they're willing to order for you. That they'll appreciate your business. Because if we don't go out and support those smaller companies, they'll disappear, and all we will have left is Amazon and their paltry selection of streaming service. We'll have Walmart. We'll have Target.
Right. Amazon,
go out there,
what they want to push you toward in their best interest, not your not what you were looking for, like as you
exactly.
covered. Yep.
Yeah. So go out there, find where you're appreciated, put your money there. If you're into books, find that small press book company that's making really cool limited editions of the author that you love. That's actually personalized by that author. That's signed. Maybe you have to pay a little premium for that, but you feel premium with that
Right.
copy of that book. I have several signed copies of different books by my favorite authors. Shout out to Joe Lansdale, who was on our show. And he's another creator that's very appreciative of his fans. So yeah, go out there and support those people that support their fans, that feel appreciated.
Yep.
Maybe not focus on those big soulless companies. Don't just say make mine Marvel anymore, since they're no longer really looking out for you. Support the ones that do. But yeah, there's something out there for you. You just may have to dig a little deeper and find it.
Yep. And if you are a creator or a published author out there, let us know, and we'd love to perhaps have you on the show and do that. Whenever we can, we try to highlight that where we can. And we've had a couple interviews in the back catalog, but I think that's what's the deal for this week. We'll see where it goes.
That's the deal.
But it just really rubbed me raw. That it's just like it's just stupid. It's like, okay, well, if you're gonna be stupid, I can be stupid too. I just won't do anything with you. Like it'll be like that, and maybe it won't make a difference. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't care. I don't have to worry about it because it's not on my plate. It's not on my radar anymore. Once you're not on my radar, you disappear. So there's tons of other cool things to get into out there than just the same schlock that you've seen over and over again. But in any case, I've been Mike.
And I'm Thomas, and that's the deal.
That is the deal. Peace out, Amazon. Hit the bricks.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah. Unsub.